There's a moment, maybe you've had it too, where you find yourself alone, sitting on the floor of your apartment, staring at a phone screen that hasn't lit up in hours. And you ask yourself, quietly, maybe even out loud, why does this keep happening to me? Another relationship that started with promise, with chemistry, with late-night laughs and hopeful mornings, but ended in silence, manipulation, or heartbreak. You swear this time it was different, that this one wouldn't turn into the last one. But here you are, again. And maybe the worst part isn't the ending. It's the familiarity of it. The echo of old pain dressed in new clothes. You think, what's wrong with me? You wonder, why do I keep falling for people who feel like home, but treat me like I'm disposable? There is a pain that comes not from a single breakup, but from a cycle. A repeating wound. One that feels etched into your very being. And no matter how much work you do, it always seems to pull you back in. But what if the answer wasn't about your worth? What if it wasn't about luck or timing or how lovable you are? What if this was about your shadow? Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." What if your shadow, the hidden parts of you, is quietly scripting the same story again and again? Are you ready to understand the real reason behind it all? Then let's keep going. Welcome back, beautiful soul, to Darker Wisdom Channel, where psychology's forbidden truths are finally exposed. This isn't self-help. This isn't spirituality. This is the raw, unfiltered knowledge your shadow has been hiding from you. Here, we don't just study the mind, we hunt it. We dissect the lies you've been fed about love, power, and manifestation. And most importantly, we arm you against your own darkness. Turn on notifications, because what comes next will rewire your reality. And if you dare to go deeper, subscribe so you never miss our soul-expanding content. With gratitude for your presence and support. The shadows are watching, but now so are you. Let's begin today's transformative exploration. Let's go deeper now. Not into blame, but into truth. Carl Jung spoke often about the shadow, not as a villain, but as a part of ourselves. A necessary, repressed piece of our psyche. The shadow is everything we were taught not to be. It's the anger you weren't allowed to express. The desires you were shamed for. The fear that was never comforted. It's the child who was scolded for needing too much. The teenager who learned to hide their softness to survive. You locked those parts away, not because you wanted to, but because the world told you they were unlovable. But here's what no one tells you. What you reject in yourself, you unconsciously seek in others. You fall for partners who reflect your unmet needs. You feel drawn to people who activate your oldest wounds, not because you're broken, because your psyche is trying to heal. Imagine someone who grew up with a parent who is cold, distant, or critical. That child learns. Love means working for approval. Love means proving your worth. Years later, they find themselves chasing emotionally unavailable partners. They feel chemistry, butterflies. But underneath that spark is something deeper, recognition. It feels like home, but home was never safe. This is the shadow's dirty secret. It will keep recreating your original pain, hoping you will finally respond differently. This isn't about punishment. This is about completion. Your psyche is brilliant. It wants to finish the story. But if you keep casting the same characters, you'll keep living the same ending. Now that you see the truth, would you like to go deeper into how this shapes our story? I want to tell you about someone. Her name is Mira. Mira was kind, empathetic. She saw the best in everyone. But her relationships? A trail of emotional chaos. Partners who lied, withdrew, played mind games. She always ended up feeling too much, too sensitive, too needy. Until one day, during a retreat, she had a breakthrough. They asked her to write a letter from her shadow, not about her flaws, but about what she had disowned. At first, she was confused, but slowly something poured out. I am the part of you that wants to be held, the one who cries easily, the one who rages when she's ignored. You pushed me away to survive, but I never left. I've been screaming through your relationships, begging to be loved, not just by them, but by you. She wept, not because she was ashamed, but because she finally understood. She wasn't attracting pain because she was broken. She was attracting mirrors, reflections of what she had buried. That was the beginning, not of perfection, but of freedom. Mira started honoring her needs, speaking up, taking up space, not to win someone back, but to reclaim the parts of herself she had long abandoned. And as she did, something shifted. The men she used to find magnetic suddenly felt hollow. What used to feel like love now felt like self-abandonment. She was no longer addicted to pain, because she had learned to soothe the ache within. Now that we've seen what change looks like, how do you create it in your own life? Let's move forward. So how do we begin the work? It starts by recognizing that healing is not about finding the perfect partner. It's about becoming the version of you who no longer needs to betray yourself for love. When you're triggered, pause. Not to judge, but to listen. Ask, what is this emotion trying to protect? What part of me is scared right now? What story is my nervous system replaying? Then go deeper. Start writing letters to your younger self. Ask your shadow what it wants you to know. You don't need to fix it, just hear it. When someone new enters your life, notice. Does this feel safe or familiar? Does this feel calm or chaotic? Sometimes we confuse adrenaline with affection, but love should feel like truth, not tension. And in your quiet moments, begin building safety within. That means creating routines that soothe your system, spending time with people who see your light, speaking to yourself with kindness, even on your worst days. Because the more you feel safe in your own body, the less your shadow needs to scream through unhealthy relationships. This is slow work, sacred work, but it changes everything. Do you want to hear the final truth? The one that ties it all together? Let's go to the last part. You were never broken. You were just trying to survive a world that didn't always know how to love you. Every toxic relationship, a cry from your shadow. Please see me. Please hear me. Please love the parts we've locked away. But now you're awake, and that changes everything. You don't need to perform anymore. You don't need to chase what hurts. There is a love inside you that is fierce and full. A love that doesn't need to be earned. When you choose to meet your shadow with compassion, you create space for relationships that feel like truth, that feel like peace, that feel like home. You are worthy of that. Not someday, now. So, if this resonated with you, if it opened something, share it. Tell your story. Comment below. Let someone know they're not alone. Because this time, it really can be different. And it begins with you.